Cool. Well, this is my third live stream, and today for this live stream, I'm thinking of doing an interview with an AI interviewer on interviewing.io. And the reason for doing that is I want to soon start reaching out to my friends and having them essentially do a mock interview with me. Because I think that'll be more useful than just trying to prepare myself. Um, I think I'll find gaps that I don't know I had, and my friends are all talented at this. Um, but yeah, this is my third live stream. I'm actually really enjoying doing these live streams. I find that creating work that I know someone else can see gives me joy rather than just doing it for myself. Even if I'm not sending this to anyone, it's fun. I've also always wanted to make videos or do something like this, and I find that just going live like this is very easy and very fun. Cool. Okay, let's get into it. So I'll just share my screen here. Cool. Actually, yeah. Okay. Let me just share this. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Let's try this again. This is not meant to feel like lead code, and I will not be acting as a tutor. Our focus on mastering the art of interviewing. The best way to do that is realistic practice. That means I will not provide you with run-of-the-mill test cases or method signatures. Your interviewer will leave that to you. Discuss your thought process in the chat and ask questions as needed. I'll give you small nudges if you're blocked. Great. I like this. Cool. Your interview question is below. Write code in this pad, just like what you would normally. Given the root of a binary tree, find the diameter of the tree. The diameter is the maximum distance between any two nodes. Great. Assume that the tree is given as a struct with val, left, and right fields. Okay. So example 1 is this output 5. Output is 5 because nodes D and G are at distance 5, and so are D and H. Example 2, nodes I and J are the farthest apart. That's at 6. Interesting. Cool. Okay. So at a high level, I'll just talk about my process here. I'm thinking that there's going to be a certain kind of, actually what's going to be really interesting here is if I use Whisperflow to write this out here. Cool. So this problem is going to require traversing a binary tree in some way. And in these kinds of questions, there's generally both an iterative and a recursive way of doing it. I find that the recursive tends to be more idiomatic to write. So I think that's the approach I'll probably go with. Unless it's not possible for some reason. Um, I want to find the maximum distance between any two nodes. It doesn't the challenge comes because it doesn't have to actually include the root. It could just be going down from one of these nodes. And so I'm finding it hard to break it recursively because I wouldn't exactly have a. I mean, you can't break it down. Like if I go through A and ask B something, I can't. I'm finding it hard to formulate what that would be because B might actually have the entire answer within it. And so maybe if at each recursive step, it gives me what the max distance between any two nodes is, but also it can give me just a max distance to any node in general, which is probably going to be one of those two nodes. Is it going to be that? Can I prove that? So if can it be that the max distance, if I have a given root and there's a farthest, can it actually be that this farthest isn't involved in the diameter? Probably not. I mean, oh yeah. I think it could. That could be the case. So, okay. So let's just for now say at each step we want to do that. And then at the end, we can just, we'll return, the kind of base case is then straightforward from there. Cool. Is that good? Should I keep going? Okay, I'm guessing, I don't know if it says this AI interviewer says anything, but okay. I mean, before I dive in there, so the time complexity of that is going to be, and so for the base case, let's think through that for a second. Not the base case, like joining the two. I'll recurse on left, recurse on the left node, recurse on the right node, sort of run our function. And then in this current function call, I'm going to be trying to take these both results. So I'm going to have these few things, right, of the max diameter and the max current. So I think the max diameter I can just maintain separately. But at each point, if I just return the max diameter, the longest node I can get within that. And also, so I can update the max diameter. That can be a global field. And I can return, maybe it should be, okay. And then I can return the longest branch up. So at each step, I'm keeping track of what the longest branch is. So there's a longest branch coming from left, and if there's a right, then I can also get the longest branch from there and update my max diameter. And then the longest branch that I return up is essentially the max of the two. Cool. So this seems like it's a text file. I think I could make it to be JavaScript instead. Cool. Okay. Oh yeah, I need like a, what's going on here? Oh, okay. Just comment this out, and then this be here. Cool. So what is this problem called? Diameter with the root. So this recursive function is first going to so if there's no node and I want to think about what I want to do in the case where there's no left and there's no right. So if there's no left and there's no right, then basically so if there's only a left, then it's trivial. I wouldn't need to update any max. Yeah, I mean, you can also just have this function be in here. Max diameter. DNG distance 5. And to recurse, I can So if there's no left, that basically means I wonder if I can just return 0 there. Let's try that. So if there's no node, just return 0. And I lost my transcript. Let me just get my transcript and paste it in there. Huh. Okay, maybe I wasn't recording. I don't know what's going on. Okay, and so then there's a certain max path going from the left and to the right. And we want to be setting your max diameter to be node dot I mean, it's interesting, even if it's nothing's there. So I think that is right, actually, to set that. So I think at every step we can actually do this, where we can say the diameter between 1 okay, so if not root, return 0, otherwise you can recurse on node, and that's going to give you the largest recurse node, and then return max diameter. This might need to be at the top. And so we have that be the max of the max diameter, the old max diameter, and the current recurse left plus recurse right plus 1. That's the max, new max diameter here. And yeah, we're just returning the longest path upwards. So that would be 1 plus whatever. So, okay, so let's look at the empty case first. So if it's just empty, it'll return 0. If there's just one node, we want that diameter 1, 2, 3 to be 0, I think, if it's just one node. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Actually, I don't think we'd want to add a 1 here. Yeah. Yeah. So then in one case, we would, and if it's just one node, we'd return 0. If it's two nodes, then we'll basically if there are two nodes, then we'd basically, our first iteration, we'll recurse right, that'll work. And first iteration, we'll set max diameter. So, okay, we recurse on left and right. And then, so left would give 0, right would give, have 1 here. So it would, when we go to the right, we would basically set max diameter. So we would return 1 plus 0, 0. So just 1 up. And then we would, in max diameter, we would set, and it's sort of when we go back to the recursive case of the root, we would set, this is 1, max of 1. Yeah, I think this should work. Okay, let's try this. So test cases. And so diameter. Okay. So this is not TypeScript, I think, which is okay. I don't think we need TypeScript for this. So I'll just do class node, and then that's pretty much it. That's kind of the node. It doesn't do much else. It doesn't even need to be a classic. Let me just confirm with ChatGPT that the syntax for this is right. This is automatically provided by the runtime instance. So yeah, I guess it's cool. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, node is not defined. Hello world. Assertion failed. Okay, great. So this is working. Now we can have, so in the as the left, we can set this, and this should be equal to 1. Cool. Should be equal to 2. Let's set, this should make it 3. Just make sure it's not, let's make sure it's all working. Okay, assertion failed. Now let's try this innermost case where, let's recreate this tree. A, B, D. This is going to be C. And then D is gonna, after D, there's also gonna be E. But D is gonna have, on the left, it's gonna have F. And then on the right, it's gonna have I. And E is gonna have, on the left, G, which will have, on the right, J. And then this will have on the right, H. Great. And the value of this should be 6. Okay, let's try this. Oh, cool. Great. Okay, cool. Let's let me end this interview. Let's see what the AI interviewer thinks of my solution. It's taking a while. Okay, I don't think this is working, honestly. Yeah, I actually don't see the point of this tool, because I could just use ChatGPT for this, and it would probably. I mean, this is not working. Anyway, let's ask ChatGPT. So new chat. Let's ask Claude. One sec. Yeah, we can probably ask ChatGPT that. I just didn't want to show my chat history, but I'm realizing you are an expert interviewer. The candidate just completed the below problem, and here is their code. Give feedback. And rate the performance. Solution is correct. Code quality, readable, code use, testing, comprehensive. Left depth and right depth. That's good. Tree builder. In real world interviews, you might be asked to parse a tree from input. Implementing a tree builder could demonstrate stronger. 4.5. Not bad. Consider separating logic from state using closure alternatives or object-oriented structure. Great. Cool. Cool. So that was a tree diameter problem. It's quite interesting. I think I did it in close to 30 minutes. It was a relatively easy problem. Yeah, it's interesting. They want you to move fast for some of these companies. But in moving fast, I want to make sure that I'm not doing the wrong thing. And so I think right now I'm intentionally moving slower and making sure that I think things through correctly and slowly increasing pace while thinking things through correctly. Because if I just try to focus on pace right now, I end up making mistakes that I think reflect poorly in my interview. Cool. That's all for this stream.